Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. 2018 Fireballs here, back with another MLB 9 Innings 24 video. Today, in this video, we're going to go over Mentor and what I did for every single level of Mentor and why you guys should do it this way too. Again, this is my personal preference. There is no really research that has gone into backing this. I have done this based off of what I used to do in the previous Mentor system. I'm transferring that over to this new Mentor system. So if you guys don't agree with me, that's okay. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm going to go through the batter category, pitcher, and then the team category all one by one. So let's start off here with the batter category. First off, I went with mid-focus. And before I get even further, all these tiers are not at S tier. I'm working on that, but ideally you want all these Mentor tiers to be at S tier. Certain ones I'm still working on, others I have at S, and others I don't. So just wanted to preface that. But first here on this first level of batter, I went with mid-focus, and that increases the chances of batters 3, 4, and 5 getting extra base hit by 6.3% when there are runners on base. Now, you could go with high focus, and there's nothing wrong with that if your 1 and 2 batters are really good. I personally just wanted to go with the Mentor level or Mentor choice that gave the highest percent chance of their runners being on base, and that was 6.3% for numbers 3, 4, and 5. The others have 3.6%, as you guys can see, for high focus, and 3% for low focus. And the number 3, 4, and 5 batters in my lineup, I positioned to be my best hitters, so this will help them get on base more. And my number 1 and 2 hitters are really already pretty good as well, so I'm hoping for mid-focus to do its job, increase the chances of those 3, 4, and 5 hitters to drive in runs. For the second level, I went with ambition. This increases the chances of a substitute batter getting an extra base hit on his first at-bat by 6.3%. So basically, it increases the chance of a pinch hitter getting a hit. This isn't the most important level of Mentor. It's probably one of the least important, to be honest, because pinch hitters really don't make an impact in the game unless you're tied. I went with that instead of Crisis because the percent chance is lower, and Crisis only increases the chance of getting a first hit if the player substituted in is the exact same position. So if there is like say if you have on your bench a shortstop / second baseman, but he's a primary shortstop on the bench, and he substitutes in for your primary second baseman, it's not going to be as effective. The crisis effect isn't going to work. It needs to be the exact same position of the same, not the same player, but the exact same position of that player that you're subbing in for. And the chances are lower, so I preferred the higher chances. Again, not the most important one, but definitely go with ambition. I wouldn't even bother going for crisis unless you wanted to experiment. That's up to you, but I would 99% of the time go with ambition because ambition is the better choice out of the two. For level 3, I went with aim breaking ball. Now with this one, you could go either with aim fastball or aim breaking ball. I would definitely not go with Eye of the Pioneer because fouling off pitches, you're rarely going to play. If you're really serious about this game, you're rarely ever going to play manual mode. You're most likely just gonna be quick playing or auto playing games, so don't even think about going with Eye of the Pioneer, again, unless you want to experiment and be crazy with it, but I doubt it's going to help you at all, increasing the chances of fouling pitches, because that doesn't really happen in quick play mode or auto play mode. Anyway, go with either aim breaking ball or aim fastball. I personally went with aim breaking ball, again, because it has a higher percent chance of increased success, while pitchers, you can debate. Some pitchers have more fastballs than breaking balls, and other pitchers have more breaking balls than fastballs. So either one, you can experiment. There are multiple slots of Mentor, so you can do one slot of Mentor with aim breaking ball and then switch it between fastball and breaking ball depending on what your preference is. I went with aim breaking ball again because the percent chance is higher. As you guys can see, 7.2% chance increase the timing of hitting breaking balls, while aim fastballs only 4.8% chance. And once we get into the pitcher levels, you'll see why I went with certain things, because certain things complement each other and other things don't complement each other. I'll explain that a little later though. Level 4, moving on here, we have only 2 options. You either had to go with reliever crusher or predict pitch. I went with predict pitch, and that increases the chances of getting an extra base hit by 6%, starting from the third at bat against the same pitcher. Now, from what was in the previous Mentor, most of the Mentor that I used to do and most other people used to do was constructed around having your starting pitcher stay in the game as long as possible. So with that same idea in mind, I doubt people are going to want to use their bullpens more, because bullpens, ideally for middle of the pack players, maybe not so much for higher end players, but for middle of the pack players, you really don't want your bullpen coming in as quickly as possible, because your bullpen arms are not as good as your starting pitchers. Your starting pitcher, ideally, you want him to go at least 7 or 8 innings. A perfect ideal situation would be a full complete game shutout, but that doesn't always happen. I went with predict pitch because most starters are going to be kept in late into the game, so the chances of me getting an extra base hit against those pitchers, their stamina gets lower, they're more tired, they make more mistakes with their pitches. The increase of getting a hit will be benefited with that 6% help right there. Reliever crusher, it could help, but if more people are going to be using their starters later in games, you're only going to see maybe 1 or 2 relief pitchers, and if those relief pitchers are pretty good, it's not going to be a large window open for you to make an impact against them. So starting pitchers, usually what the auto game will do is leave starting pitchers in for a little while after they've been knocked around, especially in the later innings. I do not know why that is the case. I've seen the AI just leave pitchers in the 8th inning, starting pitchers that is, in the 8th inning, and get like lit up for whatever reason for like 6 runs. No idea why that happens, but it does happen, so I went with predict pitch, and I think you guys should do the same thing. Level 5 here, I went with create chance. Now, this in comparison to level 3, or sorry, level 2, forgive me, level 1, mid focus, my number 3, 4, and 5 batters have an extra boost when there are runners on base, and this is where the complementing of the mentor levels comes in. So for level 5, I went with the increased chance of getting a hit with batters numbers 1 and 2 by 2.64% chance if you're in a tie or losing after the 6th inning. And something else I'll continue to say on as we move on in this video, I'm always going to base my mentor as if I were losing in the game, because I'm most likely always losing in the game, especially if I'm playing in the higher rankings of mentor, and I need all the help I can get when I'm losing. If you're winning, you really don't need help. That's just the truth. If you're winning, you're winning. And if you give up a lead, tough luck. But if you're losing, you can make a comeback. So winning, I'm not really worried about mentor, but for losing situations, I wanted to build my mentor based on if I was losing, I want to come back, I want to overcome the deficit I'm in. Anyway, sorry for that little tangent. I went with create a chance because I already did something for my 3, 4, and 5 batters, and I'm not sure if the mentor compiles on each other. Like, say if I went in level 1, I went with the 1 and 2 batters getting an increased chance of hits by 3.6%, and then I went with this one, would it increase to 5% in total if I went with both create a chance and high focus? I don't know. That's a good question. I think there might be answers on Reddit. You guys can go ahead and check out the MLB and 9 Innings subreddit, linked in my description box down below. But anyways, the number 1 and 2 batters have an increased chance of getting on base with create chance, and with that increased chance, if they do get on base, level 1 will be even more important with the 3, 4, and 5 batters having a higher chance of extra base hits with runners on base, expecting the number 1 and 2 batters to get on base first. I hope that makes sense. I know I can jumble my words sometimes. So you can mix these around, go with either or. Maybe level 1 you want to go with high focus, and then level 5 go with solution instinct, or you may want to do what I did here and go with mid focus and then go with create chance. Again, like with level 3, I have the pioneer. For levels 5 and level 1, I wouldn't bother with the bottom end of your order unless you're a really stacked team and have good batters all around. The bottom of the lineup, you're probably going to have your worst hitters, and they're more than likely not going to get on base. And again, with these mentor levels, the percent chance of success is higher on solution instinct for the 3, 4, and 5 batters and the 1 and 2 batters. So I wouldn't even bother with the 6, 7, 8, or 9 hitters. Okay, that was kind of long. Sorry about that. But level 6 now, final level for batters, I went with foundation of the chase. And when the team is losing, the opponent's pitcher's stamina reduction rate increases by 14.4%. So, again, like I said, I am thinking about this as if I'm going up against an opponent that's much better than me. I'm already going to be losing. I want to make a comeback. So if I'm losing, I want to reduce that pitcher's stamina as quickly as possible to get him out of the game, get into his bullpen, and tear apart those bullpen arms that he has, because more than likely the bullpen is the weakest part of the team that I am facing. So I went foundation of the chase. Shake, you could go with shake, but again, more than likely when you get to the higher levels of ranked, you're going to be losing games. You want to get that starting pitcher out of the game as quickly as possible in order for you to give yourself a chance to win. So that's what I went for with batters. And now moving on to pitchers. For level 1, I went with quality start. This increases the chances of not allowing any hits by 7.2% if the starting pitcher takes the mound in the 6th inning. So, like I was saying earlier, the ideal thing is to have your starting pitcher go as deep into the game as possible and only let the closer come in at the 9th inning, or worse, a best case scenario, give your starter the opportunity to complete the game and finish it off without having to use your bullpen. So I went with quality start. I want that pitcher, my starting pitcher that is, to be in the game as much as possible. Responsibility increased the chances of not allowing hits by 6% if a relief pitcher takes a mound when the batters are in scoring position once per match. Now, you could use this, but again, why would you want your relief pitchers to come into the game if they're not as good as your starter? I know the percent chance is even less on this too, so it doesn't make as much sense as doing quality start because the percent chance is higher for success. And then quick wrap up, you may look at it and go, wow, look, 12% chance increase of the closing pitcher doing better if he takes the mound before the 9th inning. But notice it says before the 9th inning. In this game, more than likely, your closer is never, and I mean almost never, he's never going to take the mound before the 9th inning. As I've been playing this game for 5 or 6 years, and the amount of times that I've seen a closing pitcher take the mound before the 9th inning, I've probably seen 4 at the most, 5 maybe, anywhere in the range of 4 to 7. I haven't seen a closing pitcher take the mound earlier than the 9th inning that many times. So the fact that that's most likely not going to be in effect because he needs to come into the game before the 9th inning, you're not going to want to go with quick wrap up. So I would go with quality start. If you're risky, go with responsibility, but I would play it safe and go quality start. Level 2, I went with division baseball. The starting pitcher's exchange timing will be managed flexibly in autoplay mode or quick inning mode. Now, like I was saying earlier about starting pitchers wanting them to go as deep into the game as possible. Yes, you do want them to go deep into the game as possible, but under reason. If your pitcher has very low stamina in the 7th inning, he has like 15% stamina, and he's going against top of the order coming again in the 8th inning, 9th inning, or whenever, you're not going to want him to face the top of the order with 15% stamina. So you want the game to reasonably take him out of the game, put him away, and then put in the closer to finish the game. So you don't end up giving the opposing team a 6th spot in the late innings, because that's going to be one of the most frustrating things. I know from personal experience, it can be one of the most frustrating things to see your starting pitcher stay in the game and just blow a lead. So I went with the most balanced option here, division baseball. It will balance out whether the AI will keep him in or take him out. It won't make irrational decisions. Crisis management, baseball, I trust. I just don't. I see them as too extreme. Pulling him too early, your bullpen's going to probably blow the lead. Taking him out too late, he's probably going to have low stamina, and the players are going to jump on him because he has that low stamina. So a balanced approach to this level of mentor, I would go with division of baseball. Level 3, I went with fastball training. Decreases the batter's timing against fastballs by 8.1%. Now, like I was talking about earlier, a lot of pitchers have more fastballs than breaking balls, while some do have more breaking balls than fastballs. With this level of mentor, you could go either or. I decided to go with fastball training because on the opposite side with batters, I went with increased chance of hitting against breaking balls, assuming that my opponents will do the opposite on the pitching side and decrease the breaking balls chance of getting a hit against by 5.4%. So either or, I don't think you can go wrong with this. It's up to you to experiment. I would personally go with fastball training because fastballs are one of the easiest pitches to hit in the game, autoplay or manual play. Breaking balls are definitely a lot tougher to make contact with. Level 4, I went with nerve relief. This decreases the chances of allowing an extra base hit on the next at bat by 3.24% in the current inning if the pitcher allowed a walk. Now, I can't tell you guys how many times I've seen my starting pitcher in the 6th or 7th inning allow a walk, and then the next 3 or 4 batters get extra base hits, doubles, home runs, back-to-back-to-back home runs. It's, again, one of the more frustrating things to witness when you're trying to win a game in ranked battle. Now, trusting fellow, this increases the chances of making it out by 1.8% if there's a runner in scoring position. Again, logically, I just went with the one that increases the amount of success rate for your pitchers, and 1.8% chance and 3.24% chance. There's not a big difference between them, but there is a difference. So And based on my experience, the amount of times I've seen a pitcher allow a walk and then allow extra base hits afterwards, I had to go with nerve relief, trusting fellow. There's going to be runners in scoring position, but more often than not, I've seen players allow walks and then extra base hits. So I went with nerve relief to mitigate that as much as possible. Level 5, I went with complete game. It increases the chances of starting pitchers' strikeouts and not allowing any hits by 6.75% during the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Now, I don't think you should choose any of the other options besides complete game for the starting pitchers, because in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, your pitcher should be pretty well off to do. In the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings especially, he should have control of the game, unless he has slow starter. Maybe if your pitcher has slow starter, you may want to go with full power pitch, but still yet, he's more than likely going to hold the fort down with that high stamina that he has, and in the latter part of the game, he's going to be much more susceptible to getting hit around, so you want to mitigate that as much as possible, and that is why you should go with complete game, increasing the chances of not allowing hits by 6.75%. And then finally, level 6 for pitchers, I went for time for the comeback. When the team is losing, my team is losing, opponent's batter's chances of getting a hit decreases by 2.25%. Again, I went with this logically because it has a higher increased chance rate of success than mind control does, only at 1.8%. And I always look at my games as if I am coming in against a higher team and I'm going to be losing. So as a reason, I went with time for the comeback. Finally, team, mentor, and a lot of these are 1 or 2 options, so I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. First one, obviously, do live team. And I don't think I have to explain this any further, just do this one. It's pretty simple, 55 base overall cards. Everybody should be able to complete that one. Level 2, prime team or all-star team. I went with prime team. And the reason being is because Come To Us just doesn't seem to give all-star team cards or cards for all-star with all-star players in general. I've honestly never seen a team with more than 3 all-stars in their lineup. I've seen one team with a all lineup of all-stars, but that was like 3 years ago. And in the 6 years I've been playing this game, 5 years I've been playing this game, I've never seen more than a couple of all-stars on a team. And more than not, I've seen tons and tons and hundreds even of prime team cards, and primes in general are much better and more useful than all-star cards. So no brainer for me, go with prime team, increase all the stats of your prime players in your lineup. Level 3, I went with one team, and my philosophy when it comes to building a team in this game, you want to build your team with team cards. Whatever team you selected, whether it's Red Sox, Yankees, Rangers, Dodgers, Marlins, whoever it may be, you want to have the set deck bonus. So go with the one team mentor level on level 3, increase all the stats of your players registered in your lineup that match your team. Level 4, I went with franchise pitcher. Increases all stats by 1 when the signature pitcher's team registered on the lineup matches my team. Basically what that's saying, it can be a little bit wordy, but saying that all your stats for your signature pitchers in your starting rotation and bullpen will be increased by 1. And pitching in this game rules, batters have started to make some headway with the new updates that have been coming, but again, pitching is what wins championships in real life, and I think it's the same thing for this game. Franchise pitcher is the way to go. If you do have more batters than pitchers, this is the only exception I would make for this. If you have more batter sigs than pitcher sigs, definitely go with franchise batter. You're not going to want to use franchise pitcher if you don't have any sig pitchers in your lineup. You're better off using what best benefits your team. If your team has more batters than pitchers, use the franchise batter. If your team has more pitchers than batters, use pitchers. But let's say your team has a full lineup of pitchers and batters that are SIGs, or pretty much complete. Pitchers and batters are all SIGs. I would still go with pitchers because pitching rules. All right, I hope that makes sense. Moving on to level 5. Register for mentor here, I went with batter skill, insight, and I chose spotlight. Now, this one is another one you can go either or, and you can experiment with this. A lot of times in the past with mentor, people would nerf winning streak when the silver skill was available, and they would nerf for batters, they would either nerf charisma or spotlight. In more recent times, spotlight has become the best batter skill, so as you guys can see here, I went with nerfing spotlight. I would give suggestions though on this. You can either, for batter skill insight, nerf spotlight or charisma. I wouldn't nerf anything else. maybe Slugger Instinct, but Slugger Instinct isn't as good as it used to be. So definitely for batter skill insight, either do Spotlight or Charisma, because those are the two most widely used skills and most powerful skills. And if you want to go for pitcher skill insight, I would either nerf Last Boss or Finesse Pitcher. And I'm going to throw in Elite Closer just because it's new. I don't know how good it is, but because you can't nerf a Silver Skill and Winning Streak, you could nerf Elite Closer. But it would be a risk because Elite Closer is only for closers, and he only appears in one inning in the game, so you want to maximize, again, the potential of where this is going to affect the game. It's most likely going to be better if you do Spotlight or Charisma, Last Boss, or for batters Spotlight and Charisma, and for pitchers Last Boss or Finesse Pitcher. Those are the two most widely used skills for each respective batters and pitchers. Finally, level 6. I think this one is no question about it. Go with Signature Power. Signature cards are far better than Prime cards, and the only exception with this is if you have more Prime cards than you have signatures in your lineup, definitely go with Prime Power. But more than likely, as you play this game and as you progress, you're going to get more signatures, more team sigs. Go with Signature Power. Signatures get double the bonus points if you use this. Increases all stats of the signature players registered on the lineup by 1, similar to one of the previous ones. I believe it was level 4. So this will not only increase just your pitchers or your batters, it will increase every single sig in your lineup, batter and pitcher. And with that, that is all the levels of Mentor. If you guys have any questions about anything that I went over, please leave them in the comment section down below. Again, this is my preference. This is based off what I used to do in the old system of Mentor. It doesn't mean it's going to work for this new system, but thinking about it logically and from what I've seen in the community so far, this is one of the best ways to go about doing Mentor. Again, if you guys have differing opinions, please, I'd be more than welcome to converse with you about it in the comments section. But thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below, hit share, and subscribe. Feel free to check out the other MLB 9 Innings YouTubers in the description box. They make great videos, and I know you guys would enjoy their content. Also, feel free to follow me on social media. I have Instagram, Reddit, and Discord linked in the description box down below. With that said and done, though, that's going to be it for me today. Have a great rest of your guys' day. God bless you all. Jesus loves you guys. I'll see you in the next video.